So welcome to the next video here, which is the 1910 Punch Cigarros cards. This is without a doubt the most important Cuban set that I believe exists, and certainly one of the most valuable. As of now, which is January 2017, there have been a total of 73 copies graded by SGC, none by PSA. Every single 71 of the 73 of those cards does not have a back, and I'll get into that a little bit later, kind of like skinned old judges. But first, let's talk about the set. If you listen to the 1909 Cabañas set, the 1910 does the exact same thing that the Cabañas tried to do in 1909, which is capitalize on the trip of major league teams to Cuba to play an exhibition game. In this case, it was again the Detroit Tigers who got snuffed the year before, but this year they decided to bring their big guns in Ty Cobb and Sam Crawford, and also the world champion Philadelphia Athletics. So the A's came down with all their great players, Plank, Bender, Lapp. So it was just an amazing group of talent. And on the Cuban side, from a card perspective, we also see the emergence of some amazing players. Besides the Parpettis and the Morans that we talked about in the 1909 Cabañas, where there were one-of-ones, those guys are all in here as well. But you also have the Estaquio Pedroso, who kind of should have been in the 1909 Cabañas, but wasn't. So here he has this card here. We also have Jose Mendez's rookie card. We also have John Henry Pop Lloyd's rookie card. I mean, these are big names. Remember, Pop Lloyd was, I think, number 26 on Bill James players of all baseball players of all time. So these are like big names. And Mendez was huge, not just in Cuba, but obviously in the U.S. as well, as he's a member of Cooperstown. So I'll start to show you some of these cards and get into some of the detail. These cards are absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to show you one on how these cards were intended, and then I'll show you kind of the rest. So these cards were all, when they originally, and hopefully you'll get a little bit less reflection here. It's kind of hard, but this is a Luis Padron card, graded SGC A. And what you notice here is you have the photograph, and it's pasted to an outside cardboard attachment. On the back, this little attachment is an advertisement, right? And it says Punch. I'll read that to you in a second. But it says Punch, and it has a little saying. It says, just not unlike the Cabañas, fumando estos cigarros se adquiere la colección de jugadores de BB, which is baseball, y una vez adquirido pase por Mauricio 117 y se le obsequiará un álbum. Okay, so what does this mean? Smoking these cigarettes, you can get a collection of the baseball players, and once you've acquired the collection, you can go to this address, and you hand in your collection, and they'll give you an album. Guess what? Nobody's seen the album. I've seen photocopies of the album, but I've never seen the exact album. This is a pretty typical thing. Thomas Gutierrez does this again with 1922-23, 1923-24, set. And it's just a common thing to do. You collect something, you bring in the thing, and they give you something that is perceived of more value. It's one of the reasons why very few of these exist. Also, and it's hard to appreciate on a YouTube thing, but this paper is incredibly thin. So what happens, and this is, remember Padron, if you watch the 1909 Cabañas, this guy is unbelievable. But let's take what typically happened. So typically, people would paste things into albums in Cuba and in most of Latin America, not unlike Panini stickers, which is pretty much all over the world. People do this. So what you normally get on the backs is you get where somebody pasted this into an album, and usually when they pasted it on, what stuck? Well, this cardboard backing stuck onto the album when they were trying to get this off. So here's a Ty Cobb, extremely rare Ty Cobb. There's only two of these known to my knowledge, right? It's hard to see. Excellent photograph. I mean, studio photograph with the background. I mean, unbelievable. And they're all rated without backing because they don't have this little backing. In fact, this backing, of which there are 4 known that have the back. Here's another one that has the back. So there are 4 of these known, right? That have the back. The only one here, which is the Jose Mendez 20, has received a numerical grade. All others are rated authentic. And I know that generally turns off a lot of collectors, but these cards are amazing. I really, unfortunately, with the camera and the angle and the photography and the reflection, it's hard to appreciate how unbelievably beautiful these cards are. So, and the checklist is just to die for. So I'm going to show you an example of the 2 Mendez cards. So one here does not have the backing, and this one has the backing. Now there's been a lot of commentary, and if you read a standard catalog, about what's the premium for the backing. Well, there's been 73 total cards graded. 2 of those that have been graded have backings. There are 2 others that have not been graded that have backings, that at least that I know of. And in general, people say anywhere from 3 to 10 times the value is one with the backing. So this is Jose Mendez's rookie, if you're looking for it. This is one that does not have the backing, but the image is just beautiful. I don't know, hopefully you can see how clear that image is. Probably not. And same on this one, but it has the backing. Unbelievable. And this one, where I acquired it in Hakes in 2011, it was $33,000. Right, so that's $30,000. And here's the one with the back, which was considerably more. Let's leave it at that. But Jose Mendez rookie, absolute killer, amazing card in this set. Really, I just feel privileged to be holding these. They'll only be here for a little while. They got to go back to the bank. So very, 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 very cool. Continuing with the Negro Leaguers, you know, a lot of noise was made a couple years ago when the Pop Lloyd sold. Again, this is Pop Lloyd's rookie. It sold in Hakes, and it sold for $95,000, which was a very big price to pay for a card. And here you can see the Pop Lloyd card. Again, the backs, as in most, have been attached to newspapers, have been in you know, scrapbooks. You can see, which is really tough to see on the line, but on the edges you'll notice a real wavy, some wavy remnants, and those wavy remnants correspond exactly to the design that follows around the punch border when it had the cardboard on there. So that's how this is just another way, if you were ever to see one of these cards, which is exceedingly rare, another way just to know that they're authentic is to make sure that it has some of the remnants, small remnants of these wavy lines on the back, which denotes it being attached to the original back. Okay, why are they all skinned? I really don't know. It's too difficult for me to even hypothesize. But these little photographs are unbelievable. The borders, the quality. You know, you have to love those photographs. Okay, so many people have seen, or you know, I guess second to the Lloyd, the Pete Hill card, which on those of you who follow Net54 is my avatar. Love this card, the clarity. You know, the 1909 Cabañas one is absolutely amazing, and his rookie card. But this, there are only a couple copies known. And when the one came up to auction in 2011 or 12, it sold for $65,000. So this is another extremely important card, no doubt, in the in the set. So following that, we talked about Bruce Petway in in the 1909 Cabañas set as well, where it went for like 21 grand, and it was a pretty terrible copy. Here's him in the punch, right? And again, extremely important Negro League card in that set. So, you know, he, again, if he's able to make it into the Hall of Fame, there are only a couple known of that. And the last record that I had on him, let me see if I remember that one. Yeah, okay, 14 grand that one went for, again, a couple years ago. So you can see these aren't things you're going to find in the dime, you know, box at the local card show. I mean, these are exceedingly rare. And of those 73 graded cards, only 3 have 3 copies. Everyone else has 1 to 2 copies, right? So this is just super, super tough set. I'm also going to let you and show you here, for the very first time, an unbelievably important Negro League player that has I've never shown this card publicly, and it's not on my registry. I mean, it's on my registry, but I don't have the image up there because I think this card is just unbelievably important. So this is the Grant Home Run Johnson card. So unbelievable photography. Here's this wavy line, as I talked to you about, you know, on the back. Just an absolutely beautiful image. I mean, gosh, I never get tired of looking at this card. So I'll give you one more shot at that. So for those of you who don't know, aren't familiar with Negro League, you know, history, he got the nickname Home Run Johnson because supposedly in 1894, when he played for the Findlay Sluggers, he hit like 60 home runs. So this was unbelievable. Most Negro League experts say that if another pre-1910 Negro star was to make it into the Hall of Fame, that that it would in fact be Home Run Johnson, and this will be his only card, and it's something that is just really special to me. So that one's cool. Of course, you know, later he would go on and play with Rube Foster and the New York Lincoln Giants, and you know, have all levels of success. I think he played competitively until he was like 50. I mean, the guy was evidently in great shape, amazing hitter, and just a great sportsman. Well before his time. So that is super amazingly cool. First time seeing here on YouTube card. I won't be posting any scans of that card for a while. It'll come out in my book that talks about the top Negro League cards. Okay, I don't want to make this video that long, but I will say real quickly, you know, some of the amazing cards of the non-Negro Leaguers that are in this set. We talked about the Ty Cobb. Here's a great one of the Sam Crawford. Very nice. Here is Chief Bender. Little bit of water standing on that one. Unfortunately, I don't have the Eddie Plank. I was the underbidder in an auction. I just couldn't quite get there, and now I regret it. But anyway, that one's moved on. So I'm still looking for that card. Of some of the famous stars that we talked about in the 1909 Cabañas, here's Carlos Moran. He's the Chinese descent ball player who played third base, and then he has an Irish last name. Crazy story, but amazing ball player. We talked about Armando Marsans, who's one of the first Cuban players in the major leagues. Love the hairdo there. We talked about Parpetti. All right. And then Estaquio Pedroso, an amazing hurler. Again, just amazing one. So the punch cards are amazing. It's been a labor of love. I've been doing this for 10, 12, maybe even more years trying to get some of these cards. I'm about 70% done with the set. I'm missing a lot of commons and the Plank card. But we've made some serious progress. We have all the big high value ones, and I hope you enjoyed the little images of this as I have. And if you got any questions or comments, let me know, because there's a lot more cards in this set, but I just chose to pick some of the more important ones.